All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in and welcome to our Crown of the Gods live stream. We've had a busy week um, doing all types of different fixes and optimizations of servers and networks and um, trying to make everything run smoother and better. Trying to fix up some of the new features we added that caused a bit of issues here and there, but all things to be expected and kind of why we're adding the new features during the beta and not during a live round so that you guys can test it away and mess up your cities so that I have to go in and fix a whole bunch of them. Um,
Break it all.
this is what I was going to is I got them to click. So now there's click information.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then I haven't put the names in yet, but it will show people's names and statuses so you'll get like all the information you'd get in the regional map on it. I haven't decided quite yet if I'm going to switch to like the actual building icons when it gets down to this kind of zoom level.
I think it would have to depend on whether it would create extra load or not.
No, it's actually pretty efficient. The way that I'm doing it right now is more because I'm trying to learn the language than it is to, for efficiency. So I'll go back and make it more efficient later on down the road.
Cool.
But I do like this system. I think the only problem with it would be with that it have to be an external map. But I think if we put enough information, on the stuff, making it external would make allow me to put like a lot more options on there. So like around shrines, I could even
Yeah.
do some sort of uh, like a little radius around the shrines to show people what's inside the enlightenment zone and things like that.
Oh, you'd have a lot of really happy palace officers or temple officers.
But like right now, it's the I like having the little squares and stuff, which is just kind of temporary while I was messing around with it. But the actual like portal and the shrines have the actual images of the boss that they're lit up for.
God.
So the god. So I think it's I like the way that it's working. I like that you can zoom in and it kind of changes from the traditional world view to one with terrain. So if you wanted to move somewhere, you could actually look at the terrain from the world map instead of having to scroll
Yeah,
around regional.
I like that. I'm really liking this for world map,
Um,
especially taking it all the way out of the game and making it separate, like overviews.
I don't think that that would be too big of an issue for people either. The only thing that you would kind of lose is the ability to double click in, like from the world map into regional map. But
Right.
but we zoom
But you
in,
get
far enough that you'd be able to see regional map already. Um,
right.
and eventually I could maybe put in some kind of options to actually do an action here or there.
Yeah, because like the way that it shows right now, I don't think I would need to see any more about region from world view than what is shown right there. Because if you can see player information, color their alliances, color whether their diplomacy and everything. You can see the temples. You can see. We'll be able to see bosses and caverns too, right?
Yep.
So that's everything that world map needs right there, and that's as close as you really need to get for region. So double clicking into region from there isn't needed because you have all the information you need right there.
Not only that, but if it's external, we can have a lot more different options. So, we could have a drop down list with all the players on the server, and you could just, you know, instead of having to add a friend, you could just pick a person from the drop down list, and it will, like highlight all their cities. Um,
Right.
like right now, I've got everybody else in red except for the people that are in our alliance, and you can easily see, you know, where our alliance is on the map
Mm-hmm.
with the
I
little
didn't
green
pick my
squares.
cities right out.
And the squares are the castles, and it zooms all the way out. It kind of does like a little clustering thing, so it kind of just shows general population of an area when you're
Right.
this far out. But you don't really need it to be as granular on that kind of zoom level.
Right.
You know,
That just gives you a nice. wide overview of what the world looks like, where the highest concentration of cities and everything is.
Yeah, and that's kind of the biggest issue on the world map currently is this you just can't legitimately draw that many points on a map at one time. Um,
Right.
so, I could always just keep the other world map and start clustering points there, but you know, it wouldn't have the same niceness of the zoom and the, ability to zoom in and have it kind of look like a regional map.
I
And
really like what you're doing there versus trying to keep it in the game and try to do more with it. I really think that, taking it out of the game, removing it completely, and giving it more options is definitely something good.
it worked well for overviews.
Yeah, it did.
I'm thinking people are liking the overviews. Uh, did the times change? Is that why people are confused?
Um, Times in Europe changed last night.
Well, they don't really count.
So ours changed next weekend.
Oh, I'm choosing not to acknowledge it. Just gonna completely avoid changing times. It might be awkward for about 6 months or so, but then everybody will get used to it. They'll,
Yeah.
they'll all come around and switch back to my time.
Yeah, world revolves around 40s time.
Hmm. But
I
that's
love
why,
it. I love this though. This is
yeah,
really nice.
I mean, it's shaping up. It's kind of hard to sit down and just completely figure out a brand new platform, just because it's all completely new options and stuff, and I'm making images at the same time to put on there. So these aren't not going to be the images we'll stick with. I'll probably do something better. It's just kind of like a temporary thing. But I do like how the little portal sits on top of everything too, so you can easily look at it and see where the open portals are.
Yes.
You can easily see where all the different shrines are, and you can see a nice breakdown of where castles and cities are too.
Yeah.
Although a lot of these actually represent 5 or 6 castles, as you can see as I zoom in, kind of spreads out and gives a better view.
As somebody who used to plan attacks, I think that's going to be very nice, very useful.
I think so. Um, and I could even put in some kind of way to export. Um, I think you can actually, yeah, you can save it as an image. So if you wanted to send out like a picture with the attack plan with like circles that you've drawn around it, you could just save the image of whatever you're looking at and
Right.
have that
That's
ready to go.
awesome.
But yeah, I've been spending as much free time as possible between processing tickets, um, trying to get this ready to go, and Al is making a side menu for it, so we'll have a whole bunch of good side menu options to disable and enable stuff and change the colors around, and it runs pretty well. I mean, even on my computer right now, it's running the game and streaming and a Skype call. It's not that bad for as much information as it's displaying. I even made it so it looked like the enlightenments were coming out of the little temporary shrines when you zoom in.
I really like it. And even for not being optimized, it's already faster than the current world map.
Well, the current world map is just trying to draw way too much at one time,
Yeah.
um, which really isn't. I mean, maybe if we were running like a client version, it'd be you know completely feasible to do so. But I can see why it took other games as long as it did to create a world map.
In the game. 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
World map. They were talking about how new and shiny world map was when I started on World 36.
So yeah, it takes a long time to get the processing down. So if we do it off-site, it won't affect the game, and we can just keep adding more and more and new stuff, and we can make it cool where it's not just a standard little flat map. But I'd really love if I could figure out a good way to do it, where you could zoom in enough to make it look just like the regional view with the labels and everything. That's just a lot of work to make it. You'd have to process all of the cities that were on the map and turn them into images, and then place them in the right spot on a different image, which wouldn't be easy, but not impossible.
I don't think it's needed though. I mean, for like attack plans, as long as you can click on a city and see who it belongs to, they're already colored as per diplomacy. And if you can click and get the information, the coordinates, and who owns it, then that's all that you need. You don't need anything more. I don't think you need all the fancy stuff beyond that.
Um, it's a little hard to look at, but then again, I don't have any options in there. So if I could change the options around, you could like select a certain player to view, it'd probably be a lot easier, or select a certain alliance, um, instead of just viewing everybody as big red dots.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll keep playing with it though.
And we could always kind of do what Dave Liu did with his shrine selector and have some sort of pop-up that shows percentages or something for shrines.
Oh,
Kind of
that
cool
would
to
be
do here.
nice. Yeah, that
Inside
would
the
be.
pop-up it says, gives a list of 10 cities or 16 cities and their enlightenment chances based on their score and distance and stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more stuff to play around with
Yeah.
without having to worry about it killing the game too much because you're already loading so much stuff into one window.
Right.
Maybe even some kind of data export for the people out there who want it.
That would be very cool.
So did a lot of work with the moon gates this week, because they just opened, so it gives me the opportunity. And I was kind of happy they opened when I was messing with the world map, so I could make sure that kind of showed it correctly.
Yeah. That was kind of good timing.
But we've just moved to this new ticketing system, which I feel is so much more efficient than the way we were doing it. Not only is it more efficient, but when down the road we've got multiple servers, it just would be impossible to do live chat and kind of switch back and forth that way. Um,
Yeah.
but I've found that we've gotten so much more fixed in the last 2 days of doing just the tickets, um, than we were in World Chat, because World Chat we ended up doing so much user error because we were there, that now people kind of help each other with the user error and then only ticket when it gets really bad, because I haven't seen many user error tickets at all.
I haven't seen any. I've
I've seen
seen
a
a
few.
little bit. I've seen a little bit of the confusion over the change to the defense counselor, but we added that graphic to the patch notes, so that
Yeah,
should help out.
for anybody that's watching now and still isn't confused, although I feel like the people that are watching probably know already. We changed it so the center column um, does the currently enlisted troops, and you can just tell by what's in the input um, what your defense counselor is set to. So it no longer changes the center column, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
But I think it's just a change thing, and people don't like change, or they get confused because something's changed, and not everybody reads the patch notes. Um,
Right.
like Marty, who doesn't speak English, so maybe we should get a translation feature in there for the patch notes so she can understand it. And I did fix the stuff like the commands and enlightenment windows weren't working for the first 5 continents. So that kind of stuff was, little fixes here and there. I fixed the dungeon processing today. So anybody who had dungeon lag, I kind of went through and changed things around. A lot of it's not so much programming, but managing, servers and selecting the right servers to process things, and not over selecting, but not under selecting either, to make sure that everything processes correctly. So we were maxing out CPU on one of the dungeon processors. That's why everybody kind of got lagged up. So I went ahead and switched out the servers and put them all onto one big server, and it all kind of works better. It's the same thing I did with the trade counselor, which I haven't seen many complaints of it not working. Um, Usually with something like the trade counselor, if it's only 1 or 2 people, I assume it's settings. But then if it's like 5 people, maybe there's something going on. And since it's broken
Right.
down kind of by player and things like that, I have to figure out which processor is actually having the issue. A lot of times it'll all be all one, you know. And AD does talk as a player in the game. Her name is actually Marty. So if you see her in chat, that's her alter account.
Marty is my alter ego.
So send all your complaint mail to Marty. Um, we have punished her twice for being an alt, but she just keeps doing it anyways. So, but other than that, I think the game's starting to run pretty smoothly. I mean, we had a hiccup this week when I added in new features, but I think I've got those settled down, and it seems like everything's kind of running smooth again. It's probably the last thing I will introduce into the game as far as new features and stuff, just because the server is getting to the point where emotions are running high, and if you start trying to implement things, even though that it's needed for the game, people get upset because they're well and deep invested in what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, and if it breaks something, it's really upsetting.
So we'll probably just monitor the tickets and fix every issue that comes up until we don't get any more tickets, and then we'll save all the new features for a small week-long alpha or something before the open live betas.
Marty says for every email she gets, we owe her 100K denari. Smart girl.
That's not funny, 80.
I think it is.
Of course you did. You wrote it.
The result of the night protection poll, it was way too divided. It wasn't even close to a majority. So no, nothing will change.
Yeah, the reason I pulled that poll up is because we do listen to people. So if we have enough people to ask for something, we'll certainly put it to a vote. But we're not going to change a major game feature unless it's like a really high percentage of people that agree on it. So I mean, if it would have gone 95% for an option, we probably would have considered it more. But since it was so split, we're not going to just change something in the middle of the game unless it's something that every player wants.
Yeah.
Just because that's not fair. It wasn't the parameters, and we just put it up there to give everybody their say in what's going on. Because you guys are playing the game, and we want everybody to have fun and enjoy themselves. So you should have a say in kind of the way that we're going to run things or do things.
And it is nice seeing everybody's point of view and why they weren't liking it or were liking it, So that gives us feedback for the future too.
If it would have come across as a good majority, when I say majority, I mean 95 to 99% of people had wanted it, we would have implemented it for this server. But not, it's definitely going to be implemented for next server.
Yes.
I haven't decided the times yet, but a 60-40 split is way too many people against it. So
Right.
and back to my original reasoning for not putting in night protection is it's an international server. We only have one, so it's not exactly fair to, you know, Europeans if we, set it at American times, or Americans if we set it at European times. Maybe it's something we do where we split it. So,
Yeah, and no matter what we did to try to get it even between Europe and America, the Aussies wouldn't have had a good time.
yeah, but, there's only like three of those people anyway, so.
More like at least 15.
But another option, maybe it's something we do another poll to see what people would like for the open beta. But, we could always do some kind of, instead of doing a 1 12-hour blast, do like a 6 and 6. So,
Yeah,
and split it throughout the day, so that it's fair for everybody and everybody can get, 5 hours and 30 minutes of sleep before they have to wake up and, deal for attacks. But, you know, it's kind of one of those things that's just hard to do when you have an international crowd,
yeah,
because no matter how you set it, somebody's going to be unhappy. Which
right.
is actually the best way to do anything. I always figure that if we piss off everybody, I've done something fairly, which is kind of crappy for us, but it's actually better for everybody else. Um, because fair means that nobody walks away feeling like they won.
See, account specific goes back into that's not really fair. It's not an even playing field for everybody. Because
Yeah,
then you'll have some people that, you know, I don't know. It
it
just some people
account
will be on one time and some people will be on another time, and
account
I think
this
it's just better to
it
go with the server time.
it would not work at all. Um, and it would really piss people off because you could be like on an alternating schedule. So really, it would actually have the reverse effect if you had, let's say, you had night protection for, I had night protection between, for 12 hours, and then the next 12 hours, 80 had night protection. I'd still be up 24 hours a day because, I'd be attacking her during the time that her night protection was down, and then she'd be attacking me when my night protection was down. So you'd still be defending and sending attacks, 24 hours a day. So
Right.
that really wouldn't solve anything. The only reason that night protection works is because everybody is on or off at the exact same time. So everybody gets a break. Um, so
People
that's,
who work night shift generally join a server like if they work in Australia and they work night shift, they join an American server and vice versa. Or a European server. I saw a lot of that with people who work third shift.
yeah, it's not about when you select to have night protection. It's about when the person that you're trying to attack selects it. So even though, you might want to have it on when you're at work or when you're at home, um, let's say you want to attack somebody else, then that might be at 3 o'clock in the morning is the only window you can actually hit them in. So that's when it becomes kind of pointless to have it when you know because you're not just by yourself on the server. Sure, you can't get attacked, but then you're not going to be able to attack people when you're around to attack.
Yes, we will be definitely having different servers for different time zones.
Yes, um, and that way we can base night protection off of what people choose.
Right. So that way you choose the server that fits your schedule best instead of choosing night protection and everybody on the server having a different night protection, which defeats the purpose.
It does. It's just it'd be very annoying to have somebody who you can't attack except for in the middle of the night and you want to sleep.
Right.
Um,
So it won't be the first server. We won't be able to open
no,
just the one at first, but we will get there.
I figure the next one will be an open beta. It'll be kind of the same, except it's going to be slowed down. It's just going to be one server, and then
Normal speed.
normal speed, and then we'll make sure everything is ironed out, and it'll allow fresh people to come in. We can market it, and get new players and new blood into the game, and then start working on opening up new servers. Either during that server or after them. But it's not. Um, it's better to make sure everything's perfect instead of rushing it. So as long as everybody gets to play and everybody's having a good time, you know, there's no need to rush into lives and 5 servers at a time if we're not filling them. So it's kind of you gotta have to walk before you run.
Yeah.
But next one will be live and or will be open and allowing for everybody to get in and without paying and come and check the game out and regular speed. Um, again with night protection maybe, um, or maybe not, or maybe we just slap night protection in the middle of the Atlantic. And that way it's kind of the same for everyone.
Yeah, and that was why we put that option in the poll, just because that's kind of a compromise between at least the USA and Europe.
And another thing that we could do is I could put the protection options in, but make them not stop raids and stuff, so people could do like 12-hour protection times, um, but not actually hurt their empire. So that's another option of how to do it is you could use an item in if you need to do something or you have to be somewhere and you can't be on without it actually hurting the account, and then make it so that the raids stop and stuff like that after we start opening servers to time zones, because that would be the a way for everybody to select when they want to do it, but not let them not be over kind of powered.
The only thing is figuring out a way that people won't exploit that to protect level 10 temples from the portals.
You would just do it so that because other games do the similar kind of thing. You just do it so that you can't use 2 in a row. So,
Right.
So you couldn't protect for 24 hours. You could just do 12 hours, and then you'd have to wait 12 hours before you could use another one.
Right.
But it's another option that we could put in there, and just make it so that you can't send attacks, but your raiders still go. Because with the normal item, your raiders would completely stop, and you couldn't resend them. And you wouldn't be able to do it if you had an attack out and things like that.
Right.
I don't see the downtime being too much. Really, the downtime's going to be changing the speed of the buildings, which actually is going to take me less time than any of the other ones because it's just going back to the base file instead of using the ×2 file. So I wouldn't imagine it's going to be more than a week or two. It's going to be really quick. Because we're optimizing and doing things here, it's not like it was between the second and the third where we had a whole bunch of extra stuff to put in. Because we're fixing and adding and doing stuff while this one's going. Just because this one's a lot longer, and also because the game's running better, I'm not spending as much time putting out fires, which was always a big issue in like the second beta where I was constantly having to fix things on an individual basis.
Yeah.
So it's now the things that I'm fixing is more on a group basis, with occasional things here and there, like when I accidentally create dupe cities.
I got another one of those just that I sent to you this morning too.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Cool.
It was only for like 2 hours, so it was only the people who made those cities within 2 hours.
So, also, if you're sending in tickets and you want answers, make sure you're checking the email that you sent your ticket in on, because we will reply to every ticket now, even if it's just to say we're adding that to the bug list and thank you for reporting it.
Yes, it's we've been trying to be very good and very quick about responding to the tickets. Since that is now our main form of communication, and it is much more effective.
Yes. The script market's going to be down the line.
Yeah, the script market will probably be something I put in during the open beta. It's a whole nother code base for me to work in and build up, and unless I figure out some way to, use a framework or something, which I doubt there's anyone out there. And I'd have to actually write the entire thing. So, you know, that and the phone app, which I've already tinkered with here and there, um, will be, during the open beta or later on. So it's important to get the game, running perfect first before we start, going in down the list of extra things to add.
I don't think we have very many main features that we have left to add, do we?
We've got some. We've got friends, which we haven't added. We've got the mail to redo and make a little bit better so people can have a mailing list. Um, we've got a general. Alan needs to do some work with some of the menus could look better. Some of the reports could look better. We still have a bunch of reports to add in. We've got notifications we still have to add in. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Couple overviews.
couple
I'm looking at
overviews.
it right now.
Oh, I've got a lot of work to do on overviews. Overviews is there's probably going to be 20 more pages added to overviews eventually.
Yeah.
Um, I figure I'm going to do an overview for every counselor. So build counselor will have an overview, and you'll be able to look in and see all of your settings and probably change them from the menu. And trade counselor will allow you to go in, kind of like how I set up the incoming attacks, where you can see the actual breakdown of reinforcements and attacks coming in. I'll probably do something similar for trade counselor, so you can see all of the cities that are collecting from that trade counselor and the options that are set and kind of like what their current resources are and what's shipping in and out, and give a nice overview for that. I don't think War Counselor needs one, but Defense Counselor probably does. I'd like to put in a raid window too. That'll show all of your current raids out there, what their status is, things like that.
Yeah, and the features left is all just little stuff. Left and right arrow buttons at top of player, spot info, the friends, and counselor packages and the bosses, item shortcuts. It's just little stuff now.
The
We've
right,
got all the really big main features in.
the right click on the on stuff. That's why right click isn't working. Is I'm planning
Right.
on putting a right click menu where you can do different features from a little menu that pops up on right click.
Yeah, daily login reward, just little things. A warning mail for your counselors expiring,
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
that is something I need to add in as well. And finish this new world map.
Rithrin, send in a ticket about that so that we can get that
Yeah,
added to the.
I've got that on my list.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
be able to select the different kinds of troops so they don't just show up in one big way.
We're planning a single click to pull all reinforcements out of a
Um,
city.
yeah, probably on one of the overviews where you can click and say return all troops or stop all raids or something like that.
Yeah, I think those are the two big things: is return all the reinforcements out of one city, or to stop all raids empire wide.
Yeah, um, yeah. Well, you know, as soon as I get more time, I can start messing with overviews and making them really good. That's the nice thing about it being
Overviews is,
external.
so much, right? So much you can do with it.
Yeah, because it's external, so it's you've got a lot of space on the page to do stuff with, and it makes it you know so you can add everything in and make it look well. I think people are liking the exportables.
Oh yes, very much so. For those that are just getting here, what Gordy's screen is on is the new world map that he's working on. Um,
It's very in its raw stages,
yeah,
um, but it's
but
kind
it's
of
going to be really nice and versatile too.
yeah. It's we're actually starting to consider going for an external world map. Um, that just has lots of different options and features, uh, where you can actually see information for things.
Yeah.
But this is very basic and just something I've been doing for, um, a couple days for, here and there. Um, so it's still got a lot of work to do, but at least I'm getting the framework down to, see what we like and don't like.
Glass says he misses the city lost pictures that would pop up.
Um, I have said from the beginning that I would love for people to be able to take pictures and put them into the game as their attack pictures. So, you could have that's just so exploitable is the problem. Because I can just
Yeah.
imagine that some people are going to send pictures of their ass
Or worse.
or worse. So you get attacked, and all of a sudden you get a pop-up that says so and so is taking your city, and here's some nasty picture you don't want to see.
I'm
And
coming to get you.
yes, I am looking at you, Glassel.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to really monitor that closely.
That's going to be your job.
Fine, I get the one to be traumatized. Thanks.
A few months from now, you're going to have an 80 sitting in a corner rocking back and forth from having to screen all of these damn pictures you guys post her.
Needing therapy even more so than I do now. uh,
But yes,
I might gouge my eyes out, yes.
this is what I've kind of been working on for World Map, and it's easy to display. You can see the whole thing at once. It runs pretty well, even when I'm running the game and streaming at the same time. It kind of uses clustering of the icons, so you're not actually rendering all of the different cities, but you're kind of getting an overview of what things actually look like, and then you can pick out the certain spots. We'll be able to put a lot more menus and drop downs in there, so you can actually just select a player from the drop down to highlight on the fly, um, or an alliance or things like that. Um, we could even start putting in things like I want to find all castles within a certain distance of a moon gate.
Portal.
Portal. I said portal.
Oh, Glass wants to know about wraparound travel, where if you, like, say you're on continent 10 and you want to attack continent 15, it'll go around the back end of the map and go quicker than going all the way from 10 to 15.
Always trying to go for the back door.
Ashendal is flat, guys.
It's actually
Earth
not.
isn't,
It's
but
not flat. It's circular.
okay.
It's just maps have to be shown in a flat setting. Yeah, you can just zoom in or out based on
Yeah,
whatever continent you want. So if you want to just see 12, you just move over here and there's all of 12.
yep.
You can zoom in or you can zoom out.
Glass.
Yeah, the whole issue I have with putting subs in an extra window is it just becomes way too overpowered, and it's not the original intent of the substitution system. Because it becomes then where one person can sit there and organize two accounts, which is a lot faster than two people organizing two accounts together. Um, so that's kind of the reason why we made it so you can only log one account at a time. You can log in there, you can do stuff on the account, you can uh, do everything pretty much the account holder can do, bar some options, but it's not supposed to be a I'm under attack, take my sub for a few minutes because you can organize both of us better.
Yeah.
I have not tested the subs abandoning. Um, it had worked the last time I tested it, um, but I'll take another look at it. Or somebody
It's
write a
on our
ticket.
bugs. It's on our bug list already.
Is it?
Yes.
It's just one of those things that I only have so much time in the day.
Right.
Um, but I'll take another look at that because I thought I'd written it in there um, with a limit and everything. So
Yeah, it's coming up null when they try just abandon as a sub. Null
okay,
out of 6 or something. Yeah, like what Tasselhoff just said. That's what it does.
okay. Um, yeah, it's probably just something real simple I can look at and fix. Probably on the back end too, which makes it easier.
Yeah. Ala is taking a night off.
Yeah, she had some previous engagement. We were going to do it at early, but then I had something I had to do, so she will be back next week.
Mm-hmm. So we're all here though. She just took tonight off,
Yes.
and we've all been working on tickets.
Yes. Uh, Spending a lot of time working on tickets and trying to fix all the issues that pop up, not just the individual issue, but fixing the actual, cause.
Yeah.
I don't think I did this on purpose, but it looks like the regional map kind of starts right where the world map stops as far as zoom goes.
Oh really? Huh. Cool.
Huh?
So yeah, once again, I'd like to point out, guys, if you're sending in tickets and you want, responses, pay attention to your email, because every ticket is being responded to.
Yeah. Even if it's just to say, we're working on it, I still I keep them open until I actually fix them. Unless it's like a front end thing that I have to do on maintenance, then after I've fixed it on our end, I'll close the ticket out or resolve it, just because it'll be in for the next patch. But
Now, when I ask for more information, I close the ticket, and when you reply back, you reopen the ticket, and it goes right to me, so I can see.
I leave them open. Am I supposed to be closing them?
You do it however is easiest for you.
I just leave them open and they sit. I have like a little list of open tickets that I check.
Yeah. I leave them closed because then I get the little pop-up notice that says my tickets.
Oh yeah.
And when I get that notification, I know somebody's responded. So it just makes it easier for me the way I do it. So don't be alarmed if something's closed. It doesn't mean that we've closed the issue. It means that I'm waiting for you to reopen it with your reply. And no, we're not going to be in game chat at all anymore, too. Live support is just not feasible. We need to be more efficient and work solely through the ticket system.
And it is, remarkably more efficient.
Yes, more organized. We're getting a lot more done.
So we got about 7 minutes left. So if anybody else has any questions or wants to see something else, but it's pretty much just getting the game running smoother and better and faster, and with less issues here and there. I did put in today where I don't know if anybody has noticed or checked, because I didn't put reports in yet for it, which I need to do. But I did make it so that reinforcements that are out reinforcing not only come back at the right speed instead of 30 hours or whatever ridiculous it was before. The same with sieges that were coming back. They were coming back at like the time it would actually take to travel the distance and not through the portals. But I made it so that reinforcements now automatically will return when they're right at their limit of how long it takes to get across the portal. So
Cool. Our loyalty and research bonus is working for attack power on troops when they're hitting bosses. Tesla wants to know.
they should be, yeah.
I can't see them working in attack and not attacks and caverns and not a boss.
I could, but no, I think they're in there. I think it's just not in there on the reports. So that's something I'll have to put in on the front end.
Okay, so it's just a numbers thing,
No,
display.
actually, bosses and dungeon or in caverns are completely separated as far as attacks go.
Okay.
So, no, I did check and they are accounted for. It's just I think I need to put in the to make the numbers show. So that's a front end kind of thing.
Rithrin said it was research was working, but not loyalty.
I'll take a look again. I did something with it over the past week or so, and made sure that loyalty was in there. But I will definitely check again.
Cool.
I also fixed the enlightenment window for you guys to make sure it was showing the right amount of resources. So, and the reason we hadn't had complaints about that before was because it was showing right for level 1s, but it was when you get to level 2s and 3s and 4s where the numbers started getting off. So that should be fixed now.
Excellent.
Our temple
Yeah, we've got
nice.
We've got all the way up to level 4s now. Last I looked.
Still a long way to go.
Yeah.
And plenty of time to optimize and fix everything.
Oh yeah.
And people have been actively boss hitting.
Oh yes.
There's a couple of people out there that are probably. That's what I love about the you no longer have to wonder, sit around and say who's hitting all the bosses.
Open rankings and look.
We kind of put that boss ranking in because it was always something that I would have wanted to see. But some people have hit a lot of bosses.
Let me look.
I'm looking at it right now.
Ed and Salty are pretty neck and neck. 636, 638. Tioki right behind him, 508. That's a lot of bosses.
Yep. So
for this far into a server.
I've always said there were a lot of bosses that would spawn, and so when people say there aren't any, all you have to do is look at this list and start attacking the people that are on the top, and more bosses will show up. Yeah, that's actually by
That's
design.
a timing thing.
If you abandon a 7-point, it very feasibly could, depending on when the next tick is and when it starts downgrading, it very much could stop, it not being a castle, and it should stop the attack. That's the thing I'm not sure of, but I'm going to make sure to add that in if it doesn't. But it should stop the attack once it turns to a ruins or once it no longer becomes a castle. Castles can be destroyed if they are abandoned and they become ruins.
Yeah.
And eventually that spot goes away completely.
They rot. So if you can't take it before it rots that building and makes the city go away, then yeah.
I'll figure out what's going on with Bone and her reports. Did she make a ticket?
Yeah, have her put a ticket in Showtaker. I hope I'm saying your name the right way.
I think it's all one way, like Shotaker.
It could be.
So yeah, that's just something I need to put in, is to make sure that sieges and attacks stop when something isn't any longer a castle, because I don't think I have that check in there at all.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever able to take an abandoned 7-point castle in other games.
It would have to be.
It would rot first. Even when you went all the way down to full research and loyalty bonus and you only had a few hours to siege something that was empty, I still couldn't.
Well, it rots every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes it kind of lowers a building level. So if there's 7-point, it's going to be the castle.
Yeah.
Nobody can pronounce Tur's name. Yeah, 150. It depends on how far spread out you are. You know, if you're on, you know, 8 different continents, then yeah, 150 a day maybe. But you know, if I look at rankings, there's a lot of bosses being hit. I'll have to. You know what I'll do is I'm gonna take a shot of the amount of bosses hit so far, and then I'll do a um, comparison like 24 hours later or something. And then if there's not
Yeah.
enough, I'll tweak up the number of bosses.
Um, I do remember in other games, I proved that the more you hit, the more would spawn. And it was the same way with dungeons. But yeah, you have this one run different, so.
Well, and there's no, you know, actual metrics out there for how things were spawned and where, and so you know, it's all very much a optimizing and tweaking kind of thing.
Are they still not going gray right when they've been hit?
No, I think that's something I need to. I did put it in there where they go gray after you've clicked them if they're inactive, but I
Okay.
think I need to mess around with the regional loader a little bit.
Okay.
You know, one of those things that's on the list.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
But yeah, I'll
And how
definitely take
long
a
do
look at
they
it.
stay on the map once they're inactive and are being hit? It, is it as soon as the troops get there and kill it that they go away?
Yes.
Okay.
It's also, you know, sometimes people are sending them 24-hour marches, so you can't make them disappear that quickly. Uh, but they don't really count as bosses once they've been hit. So even though they might still show on the map, but you know, it's kind of a difficult balance between, you know, deleting them too soon when there's an attack on them or not. But um, I'll definitely work on the display. But I don't, you know, I'd really have to look and see how fast people are hitting these things as soon as they pop up. So
I think if they went away right as soon as you send an attack at them, then people would be sending attacks to bosses and kind of freak out because the boss isn't there anymore showing, and they'd be worried that they were not going to hit one.
yeah, and also, you know, I just need to make it so that they grow out faster, because they should be grayed out now. But there's something going on with the regional script which I haven't looked at in a while. But you know, if you looked on a continent and never saw any bosses, um, you know, then you would just think they weren't spawning at all. Whereas if you see inactives, they spawned, but somebody else hit them.
Right. And I remember seeing gray bosses all over the place in other game
Hmm.
because they'd been hit and then they would go away. So,
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to start messing around with rendering individually per person, whether or not things are shown.
yeah, that could add a lot of lag.
I guess I do it for the little command buttons, which also need to be fixed for disappearing.
Free for all, can you send a ticket in with that screenshot, please?
He's got a screenshot.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking him to send that screenshot in with a
Okay.
report a bug.
Yep, then we can take a look at it and put it on my list of stuff to fix.
Yep, yep. Thank you.
And we are at round 5, so if anybody else has a couple more questions we can take. If not, we can get back to doing tickets and fixing bugs.
Sounds good to me.
Wonder if I could actually get the boss icon on this map. That'd be kind of cool too.
Maybe.
On the world map, you know, instead of having them like the like a dot or something, actually just show the little dungeon icon. We are gearing up to start marketing. We're hiring a marketing firm, so we figure as soon as the beta starts getting this beta starts getting closer to an end, we'll start pushing a lot of online marketing, um, essentially for the live betas, and then as time goes on, we'll scale up and scale up with the marketing, and um, add more and more online presence, as well as start maybe doing TV commercials eventually, or commercials here and there. Um, but marketing is not my area of expertise, so we are going to hire a big firm that understands the industry, who can help us bring a lot of fresh people into the game.
And do it the right way.
Yep. So that is something that we have already been working on and already have started working with companies. So it is definitely something that will be in the works. But it's kind of hard to start a big marketing campaign when people have to pay to actually try out the game. So it's something that really needs to start with a big push towards the open beta, which it'd be nice to know an actual time to start pushing that in. So we have to wait until the server kind of progresses to where we can predict when it'll end.
I think where we start it based in is going to depend on how many servers we have open for what languages so far.
I think we'll just market all over the place.
Okay.
I think we'll
Cool.
market, all of Europe. Um, probably not in some places like Russia and China, but at least for Western Europe, we'll market pretty hard in there. Um, Most marketing firms have international capabilities, and with the internet, all it is really languages. So, um, no, I think that we'll market to both U.S. and international places.
Excellent.
But marketing is key, and that's one thing that other games don't do a lot of. Is you've got to keep continuously growing your player base and replacing attrition rates, and you know keeping the game full and opening new servers, and that's the way that games thrive and survive, is through stuff like that.
And continued development, which is already planned.
Yes. The cash goes to servers, as well as to stuff like marketing and things like that. So um, you know I'm not paying myself, and so pretty much everything left over from server costs is going directly back into the game, to pay for marketing and things like that.
Invest it right back in.
Yep. That is a good portion of any kind of cash we get in will go towards marketing and creating advertisements, and there's just so much that goes into that kind of stuff, with the wording and articles and images and videos and things like that. So it's definitely not cheap, but it pays off in the long run.
Yeah. Because attrition does happen in these games. Real life happens, and you gotta keep new people coming in.
Attrition happens, and this game will be a lot of fun if we're populating 3 new servers every 2 weeks, um,
Yeah.
and there will be that many people out there playing the game, and people will have options, and you'll be able to have lots of different teams to fight against and lots of different alliances to join, and we don't want to keep it small. We want it to be big, so that you know the player base is so large that there's always someplace new and fresh for people to go to.
Yeah.
And I think that was the downfall of other games, that they didn't market,
Mm-hmm.
um, which we will. And then maybe I'll get myself on TV commercials.
In gladiator costume.
In a gladiator costume, of course. I'm wearing one right now, actually.
And a chariot and everything.
I've got one
Yep.
parked in the backyard. I don't think people realize that I put on my gladiator costume every time I do a live stream.
Oh,
Helps to
jeez.
get me in the mood.
Well, it's like 10 after 5.
Yeah, the problem with Russia is that Russia and China both have different marketing strategies. So, you know, basically Western Europe and the U.S. you can kind of market similarly. And I'm no marketing expert, and this is just how it was explained to me. Um, that you would actually have to contract with a Russian advertising agency to actually, advertise effectively in Russian. Um, I have no clue why, but that is what I was told. So that is in the works, and we do plan on, getting as many Russian people and Chinese people into the game as possible. Um, but we have to, kind of start at the, low-hanging fruit, which is, one marketing agency that can do, the U.S. and Australia and Eastern Europe, and then move into China and Russia and Japan and those kind of markets that have completely different marketing strategies than the you know Western-based population. Um, but we definitely will have online advertising for those languages and places for those languages where they would go. It's just not going to be as hardcore as we are going to do the Western at first, and it's all kind of a growing process. You can't just jump in and go everywhere all the time. You kind of have to grow your base markets and expand out as time goes on.
Yep.
But the more Russian people we have out there, like talking on our behalf, um, that reaches a lot of people. So Russian is one of the few languages I do not speak. So it's not exactly simple to get out there and market for Russian sites.
And Google doesn't slaughter Russian too bad, but it's still not the greatest communication tool. Um, so if I put something in the forums, in the Russian forums, and it sounds funny, I apologize. It's Google.
Yeah, and if the more that players and their communities can go out and that speak the different languages, um, can go around to the different review sites that are in those languages and post good things about us and links, the faster the community bases will grow.
Yeah.
And the faster we'll have dedicated servers to those languages and those things, because we're going to have to build, servers based on, the population of communities. So, the faster a population of a community grows, the more servers will have dedicated to those languages. But really, my I what I would really enjoy to have is servers based on time and not language, and have some sort of universal translation, ability, where people can talk and it naturally translates everything into their native language. And I'm positive that there is a way to do it. I just have to find it. Um, but I would really like it if people could just play based on time and not on language, because I think you do a really big disservice to good players who don't speak English by making them play on smaller servers with a smaller population of people.
Yeah. It makes it more competitive when you can get more people mixed in.
Yeah,
More fun to play.
I'd rather time be the limiter than language.
Yeah.
But then you kind of stop the small little tiny servers with smaller populations that are based on small languages like Portuguese. Or although if we got half of Brazil, I'd convert the whole game to Portuguese.
Well, Brazil's pretty huge.
Yeah. So You Americans better get on it and get more people in here because I'll convert the game to Brazilian in 10 seconds. I will go where the target market is.
I know Brazil is most of South America. 2/3 of it.
It's a good portion.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, there's going to be 150 Brazilian servers and one US. We have plans for all types of, you know, special servers down the road.
Yep, yep.
You know, I've heard one giant landmass that there's no water at all, and just the entire world map would be just one giant landmass, which would be fun.
And conversely, one that's all just navy, bunch of little islands.
Yeah, a bunch of little islands with only one spot on them, and you know, some resources and dungeons and shrines and stuff,
Yeah.
and make it an entirely navy server. Another fun one would be, you know, like an extreme portals server where, you know, it's all kind of like the same setup as the Navy server would be, but everyone has an active portal that is there all the time. So you can always attack somebody like they're one space away at all times. Fun to play too.
Yeah.
You know, but there's all types of unlimited options and stuff we could do for special servers and special tournaments, and you know, I'd like to do real kind of champion tournaments where, you know, you had to have, you know, 2, you know, first place crowns or 3 first place crowns in order to play in them. So you get like the absolute real champion of the server, instead of, you know, spreading it out and letting anybody with a crown in.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Well, Capture the Flag was also really, really popular when we did that for the 1 alpha.
the special squares.
Yeah, the special squares.
Special square server might be fun too,
Yeah.
with no alliances.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people loved it, Imp. That was a really fun one, really popular.
I think that was one of our better alphas.
I think it was too.
I think people had a lot of fun with it. Yes, we did talk about that at the beginning, that we will be adding night protection. It's actually already in the game, but it's turned off since it's an international kind of server.
Not for this server, for the lives.
Oh, yes, for down the road for the next server, but not for this one, no.
Yeah. No night protection for this server. It's going to remain as is.
But we do have it in, and we have tested it before, so I know that it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although sometimes, for some strange reason, code all of a sudden stops working. When I've written it
Well,
ages ago.
we'll probably have a closed test just to make sure everything's working right before live, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know, the next one's going to be a beta as well. We'll just have a live server with the beta tag, just to, you know, make sure everybody knows that, you know, the game is still not completely polished yet. But, you know, I figure that this server's got at least another month and a half, and you know, if we're not implementing new features and just kind of fixing old ones, that's plenty of time to get everything fixed up.
Yeah.
You know, and then I can really start to play with fun things like overviews and world maps, and
Right.
which I try to add in as, you know, much as possible. You know, maybe by that time I can hire another programmer to come in and help and mess up all my code. Whatever that screenshot is, just put it in a ticket if you would, and I'll fix whatever problem still exists. Because I do look at all the tickets. At least the ones that 80 passes me, that I don't catch before her because she's fast.
Well, some of them have been, I need more information. Some of them are things that we already have on the bug list. So.
And I think we're
I've passed you some of the really weird, really important ones.
yeah, you have.
So
Uh, I think we're at our 20 minutes over, so we'll call this one for today, and we'll be back on next week. So thank you guys for tuning in, and if you have any issues, please send in tickets. We are monitoring them and responding. So we want as many tickets as possible, because it's going to be my primary concern is to keep fixing until we get no more tickets. So that's kind of my goal at the moment is go 24 hours without a ticket, and I'll know the game is getting close to ready.
yeah.
So thanks again, guys, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.